Contentment, do me a favor, right?
What is up? Welcome to another episode of the Stay Rich in Spirit podcast. I have a special guest with us today, Miss Patrice Cameau.
Yay.
From Camp Space, Shades of Content, one of my favorite podcasts online right now. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you check it out. That's Shades of Content. And we have her today coming to talk about everything under the sun, like the mompreneur. Like, I love your whole vibe. I love what you represent. I love what you like offer the community to muse from. You know, that's a beautiful thing. And we start off every show the same way. How are you doing?
It's so interesting that you asked this. I start off all my staff meetings with my team. Literally, we pray and then we do wellness check, like a check-in, like just how are you? So I'm thankful that you asked me that. I'm feeling good. You know, I think I'm approaching 40.
Yes.
And I feel like that is shaping a lot of my feelings and my intentions as I'm like going day to day. But I'm feeling new, but also like I'm feeling like my old self.
New and like your old self.
Yeah.
I want you to
That's
unpack that a
interesting,
little
right?
bit
Okay,
more.
so
Like, new, but like my old self. I like that.
Yeah. So this year, and it might be the 40. How old are you?
33.
Oh, Jesus. She's a dinosaur. It might be when you're approaching these milestone years, like you get like super introspective, I think, and reflective. And so I, for the most part, have never felt better, like from a physical standpoint, from a like, I know what's happening standpoint. I know exactly what I need to do. And so that's like new because I know that there's like so many things that I can do, right? So every day is new. I don't look at each age as getting older. I look at it as literally every day is a new day that you see. So like you're new.
Yes.
But then also as I'm getting older, I'm feeling like more like myself, my old self. So like super perfect example. I just asked my son, I was like, you like my outfit? He's like, yeah, I'm not used to seeing you dressed like that. But this is how I dressed in high school.
Okay.
Like I was very like, creative and just, quirky a little bit. And then for some reason I just kind of reeled it in. I don't know. But like I want to be myself, so that's kind of the old feeling like my old self. But again, understanding that every day is a new day to see newness.
That's real. It's kind of like you go through a process where you're discovering yourself. And then you don't really get all the way there, but like you have a good time. But then it's like now you go out into the world and then the world impresses upon you in a sense.
You're supposed to be.
Right?
Yeah.
And you start conforming. You start trying to find compromise between that person you was back in your teenage years and this person you need to be to tend to your emotional, mental needs. And you start having responsibilities of other people too that you are going to be held accountable for, right?
I couldn't have said it better.
And then the next process is like, hold on, wait.
Where you at, Patrice? Like, you here?
Yeah, I'm fly.
Period. So, exactly. You literally summed it up. When you go down this path of having children and, being a spouse and owning a business and managing people, there's this real delicate dance of obviously showing up the way. There's this delicate dance of being respected and respectful in your positions. Because I do believe when you're elevated, there comes a level of you got to elevate. You can't keep doing the same stuff you did 5 years ago.
Yes.
Right? Because you're growing, you're learning, and people are looking to you for whatever it is that you provide. But you got to stay true because like we see a lot of people who hit this 40 mark, this 35 mark, and they've spent the last 15 years, 20 years conforming to their roles, conforming to their names, their titles. And then they hit 40, 50, and they're like, who am I? Exactly. I don't want to feel like that.
Exactly. Like, I don't want to get stuck in a cycle of experiencing life without evolving in life, Like,
that's the clip.
Well, for real, it's like it's a maturation that must happen with everything
Have
you
to.
you take your time doing.
Yeah.
Like there has to be a maturation process for you. You shouldn't just get better at your job. You should become better as who you should come better as whoever
That's
you
it.
identify yourself
Yeah.
with, whatever you identify yourself or whoever you identify yourself as. Like it should be a maturation process in that.
Absolutely. And I think when the maturation is happening when you feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
Right? Like when you're like, yo, am I supposed to be doing this? Like, why are they asking me this? Like when you start having those kind of conflicts a little bit,
Yeah,
inner
yeah.
conflicts, that I think is the exact sign that you're going along that path of maturing, changing, morphing
Mm-hmm.
into just the next stage, whatever that is.
Whatever that is, because it's like, does a caterpillar know what it will look like once it
Yep.
enters this metamorphosis?
Yes.
Like, do I know what it's like to be a butterfly? No, I might not,
Mm-mm.
but I know that it's time.
Yep.
I know that it's time for something different.
And that cocoon phase is dark.
Yes.
Whew. I'm going to tell you, and I've said this on my show, the end of 2022 felt dark for me. Not like dark can mean different things to different people. So I
Mm-hmm.
can only speak to my experience, but it felt doubtful. It felt unappreciated. It felt like not secure. It just felt like really weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it was because, God was uploading or downloading all of these like things in me that I need to turn into said butterfly and fly. And even once you become the butterfly, you don't know where you flying to, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And it's like, I like what you said about dark can mean different things to
Yeah.
different people, because we get so addicted to the light, we stop appreciating dark, and darkness came first. Like, well, in my sense, in my
Yeah.
religious belief, like darkness came first. Let
Absolutely.
there be light,
Absolutely.
so like the person who's able to find that calm in that darkness, who the person who's able to find that calm in that cocoon, knowing that they're going to break out a better, is a very powerful entity, it's a very
Yeah.
powerful spirit, like I don't think you can stop that type of person. You can't stop that type of person who keeps going even when they feel dormant, or even when they feel like things are like uncomfortable.
Yes.
Like, and when because uncomfortability can also cause paralysis.
Oh God. Most of the time.
Like,
Right?
people just stop.
I'm good. I don't like the way this feel. Stop.
Man, for real, like that's not a call for change for some. Sometimes that's like maybe I need to step back a little
This
bit.
not for me.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
Like
I don't look at it that way.
one thing that I've been telling myself is in 2023, I don't want to be a better leader. I want to be a bigger leader. Like I want to take the bull by the horns even more. Like I want to really step into like all of the positions of
Yeah.
change that I
Yeah.
am able to occupy. If everybody who can ain't able, but if you are able and you can do it, like I want to have the courage to try it
Yeah.
and take it on. People already say I do too much, but at the same time, it's like I am able to. Like I am able
I'm
to.
able.
I am able. Like
What a blessing that is.
what a blessing that is. Like because I could one day I probably will be disabled.
Right.
You know what I mean? I
Right.
will not be able to do all of these things that I'm doing now. So why I have this relative youth, right?
Youth.
Like,
Wow.
this relative youth,
33.
right? I'm so excited about this year, though.
Yeah.
So excited. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. So, quick question. As you say, you're approaching this age milestone, right? So, as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as a managing professional, as a podcaster, as all these different things, what has your 30s taught you?
Wow, that's a really great question. My 30s, what has that taught me? So much happened in my 30s. Like I had 2 more children. I opened this pretty substantial business, I think, I know set the trajectory for many other businesses like it. My 30s taught me that you can be what you want to be.
Mm.
Like I don't. You know exactly who you are. Like I look back to journal entries from like 2014, 2015, and there's certain things that I wrote that are very applicable to right now.
Mm.
Like same person saying the same types of things that I wanted. But back then I was I wasn't as confident, you know. I hadn't experienced a lot of the leadership and proactiveness that I had during that time. So when I would look back at my journal entries and read it, it was coming from a space of I yearn for these things. I know this is where I'm supposed to be. This is who I'm supposed to be. Like I discovered Bikram yoga in the 30 when I was in like 2014, 2015. So at that point I was like 32. And for like a year prior to that,
Everybody doing math. I can't believe that. I don't believe that.
For like 2 years prior to discovering Bikram yoga, which is hot yoga, it's the same 26 postures for 90 minutes. The room is like 115 degrees. And there's a beautiful Black-owned Bikram network of studios in the DMV area.
Audrey, you ever been?
Yes, he has been. He's an athlete. My 15-year-old, is an athlete. So yeah, he's definitely been.
Nice.
Yeah. And we need to go back, right? I said that the other day. So for 2 years prior to that, I was in a car accident previously. And so every morning I would wake up and my shoulders would hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I would literally have to have my husband like push my shoulders down because it was so tense. I don't know what happened in the car accident, but it impacted. And I started going to yoga, unrelated, 2 years later. And within 4 weeks, I never had to do that again.
Wow.
So that taught me I can heal my body.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so through these last 10 years, there have been things that I wanted to make happen that I did. And so I would write it, going back to the initial point, I wrote these things in my journal and thought it was pie in the sky, or how can I become that person? What does that mean? And so now looking back 8, 9, 10 years later, I'm actually understanding and it's actualizing itself. Like, no, you can do this. Doubt be so heavy and real.
Yes.
But you have to, I've learned, not in my last 10 years, in my last year, the importance of what you think. But I don't know why it took me so long I haven't read The Secret, but I've watched it. You can watch it on YouTube with no commercials.
That's a little cheat code.
I just sent it to my son to watch it.
One of the most important books I read.
Oh my God. And I'm still going to read it, right? Mm-hmm. I've already watched it on YouTube. I'm still reading it because I like written word. Like I like to feel the pages. But it's all here.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And we think the mindset is from a space of, I'm going to do this. I can do this. I'm strong. But we don't never think about the flip side. So I said this on my show last week. Like, let's say you want to be a brand you want to represent brand campaigns or whatever as an influencer. Mm-hmm. Let's say you have a email draft in your inbox and you're like, I'm going to send this, but you're so afraid to do it. You being afraid to send that email is making the opportunity afraid to come to you.
Yeah.
People don't look at it. They don't look at the law of attraction and the mind in that way. They only think if you think positive thoughts, positive things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. But it's literally you tell the universe exactly what you want, in all ways. And it sounds so simple, but it's like if you're in a marriage and it's not fulfilling, when you're saying, oh my God, I can't stand this person, I can't wait to leave, and that might be very true. But when you're saying those things to yourself, the marriage ain't gonna rock with you either.
Yeah, you set the trajectory.
And that person, whether they know you feel that way or not, the energy feels it, and they're gonna continue to bring that energy to you. So it's just that's totally changed. Like
it's real. It's like a tell and show. You know, like the law of attraction, the power of manifestation. Like you tell the universe what you want, but then you show the universe that you want it.
Thank you.
You got to show the universe that you want what you commanded.
Thank you.
You know, like
thank you. And in the show part, it's like it has to be for you and not for like. Not this is gonna sound cliche, but not for the universe. And when I say that, I mean all the individuals and all the beings in it that can fog you. and me going along this, stepping more into my personal like brand and really speaking out and stepping into my voice, I probably spent the last 3 years saying I knew I should be saying this out loud and I knew I should be putting out this content, and I just wasn't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, why wouldn't I? Not, and I'll tell you why, because I didn't want to look corny or I didn't want to look weird. But the only reason why I felt that is because that's how I was feeling about other people when they would do it. But the only reason why I felt that way is because I was jealous that I wasn't doing it.
Uh-huh.
Right?
It's full circle.
It's full circle.
Yeah.
So once the light bulb, flicks on and you realize that it's just me and the things that I'm literally thinking, and you shift that, it just changes everything.
Yes, 1000%. And I look at it in a similar way. It's like I determine how much I trust people by how much they see my vision. Because the universe won't see what you ask. Like the other participants in the universe won't see what you're asking the universe for.
Exactly.
So
and they shouldn't, because it's not for them.
But if you don't understand it, if you don't accept it, if you don't respect it, then I know like we're not aligned. Like we not on the same page. And again, it add fog.
Yeah.
Fog is not ideal.
Mm-mm.
It's really important for all of us to try our best to maintain a sense of clarity in life.
Yeah. And I think that clarity comes from like individual time and being really intentional about literally cutting out the noise. For someone like me who has 3 children and multiple things, I have to be very intentional about, this is my time. When I had COVID in November, as my first time getting it, those were the most peaceful, most productive, most positive days that I've had. And I can't remember the last time I felt that quiet and at ease, because I didn't have a choice. And now I know the value of that, and so now it's like, okay, I have to carve out these moments, and I can't say I've done it since then, but I know I need to. You got to at least know, of making sure that I get 24 hours, 48 hours of uninterrupted quiet.
Yes.
To think, to dream, to hear God, to create, but also with that, even when you're not able to get that calm, that quiet, you have to have a mechanism for getting the ideas out. Ideas come to me. That's how you also know when you aligned, when the shit just constantly is coming to you. No bull. When I was in the car driving here, something came into my mind. I took out my phone, the voice note, and just recorded it.
Man.
Because I can't, I have to get it out.
Man, I know for a fact, like my last relationship, I know she was like, thought I was halfway crazy because I pull out the voice recorder in a second. Like, it don't matter where I'm at.
Yep.
I could be in the shower, like, and I'm like, in 1830, it's these streams of consciousness, because clarity is also a blessing. Like when silence is a blessing too, like, because the noise, we have to reduce the noise. We have to reduce the noise.
And we can do it.
It
ain't like, I don't know how to, turn your notifications off.
Facts.
Like take these little steps and stop, like just stop.
But silence makes people uncomfortable. The same way that darkness, same way we spoke about darkness makes people uncomfortable. Silence makes people uncomfortable. Like that, some people will call it an awkward silence, right? It don't get more awkward than when you're by yourself. When you're by yourself and you realize like, wow, I'm addicted to noise. I need to play some music.
Ooh.
I need to watch some television. I need to turn on Stay Rich in Spirit podcast or Shades of Content podcast. Like when you feeling all of these things, you feel like you need some type of stimuli.
Yes.
Where you don't understand, like you are the stimuli. That spirit, that spark that you have within you has the ability. You can be in dialogue with your own energy. Like how often do we dialogue dialogue with ourselves? Like, how often do we speak to ourselves? Because within us is a community.
Yeah.
There's a community within us, and our mind is a part of the universe.
Yep.
We're telling you to, like, it starts here, but like here is everything. Like everything is related to everything. So realizing you talk here to just understand, like, and to listen to your own mind so it can tell you the connection that it has with everything going around
else.
you, like your mind and your gut, because
Right.
I'm a
Absolutely.
two-brainer.
Yeah.
I got the two brain theory, the mind brain and the gut brain. Like the gut brain comes from the egg, the mind brain comes from the sperm. Like, you know what I mean? Like our whole bodies grow from our gut, so like understanding, like, you got to be in dialogue, because a lot of times it's your mind dialoguing with your body.
That's
like
right.
So they could get on the same accord, and that they could move in unity. That's really what alignment comes to be.
Right.
Alignment comes to be like a dialectical symmetry between your mind, your body, and your soul, or your spirit, or your heart, and all of these other parts of you that are thinking, that are active, that are experiencing things, that are maturing. Like, is your body maturing and your mind maturing at the same pace? Like, is one outpacing the other? Like, what does one have to teach to the other? Even as an athlete, you probably know this more. He said he wasn't in a podcast, but he in a podcast.
He
Right?
did it.
But like, like, it's like your body, you train your body to react and respond to things as they happen,
And I'll say, even like when you talk about the mind and the gut, especially from a female's perspective, that intuition that you feel, that literal air quote gut feeling, typically, I'm not going to say typically, we already know what we're supposed to do. But the discomfort of the action, the thoughts of the outside world, the need for noise and approval causes us not to do said thing or to do the opposite. And that can be in a professional space, that can be in a physical space. Like, one thing I'm really trying to be a little more cognizant of is like my alcohol intake. Because, I know God is telling me, bro, you don't need that.
At all.
Right?
A little bit of that.
But so, and that's a very serious, like, gut, like, but I'm having to very intentionally, like yesterday, I went to the mall. 6 months ago, after I finished at the mall, I would have went to Cheesecake or a bar and had a drink, right? Like, I just would have did that.
I definitely was at Cheesecake yesterday.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have did it. I would have got my, but I was like, no, you don't need that. Like, just put your bags in the car and go home. So it's actually paying attention in that quiet and hearing what I know is right anyway. And I think the quiet allows you to just acknowledge what you already know.
Yeah, it allows you to be disciplined.
Yes.
Like, because the noise, a part of the noise is to distract us from ourselves, telling ourselves what's in our best interest.
That's in the whole system.
We know our best interest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even give people advice no more. Like, it's no point.
You already know. You just wanted me to confirm what you already know to be true.
You wanted me to word exactly what's in your mind in a way that makes you feel more confident about what you already know. You gotta do. Like, baby girl, you know that your boyfriend isn't going to work out, bro. You know that you don't love her, like,
you already know.
Like,
you asking me,
since you got to leave that job, like, you know what I mean, like, you already know, like, you don't need me to tell you, like, I have I have some type of advanced knowledge of what you're going through, like, everything, like, you have full capabilities. You are able to diagnose and audit the things in your life and to figure out what's working for you and what's not working for you. And you also have the ability, if you have the courage, to move on.
Yes. It just takes one step. Like, it's not like changing the world in a day. Nah, it's just, okay, I know I need to do this. What's the 5 steps to get me here? Let's do step 1 right now.
Start the race. Once you hit a gun, go.
That's it.
Like, go. But how many people hear these, when you at the start of a race and then or then you just, right? People hear it.
Mm,
but they never start the race. Like
chilling.
you never start the race,
Oh
like
man.
it's that paralysis we're talking about, It's
Yeah.
that but you always but also it's also reducing that noise because sometimes you got so much going on, you don't hear the canon that's telling you to start in this
Mm-hmm.
new direction,
Mm-hmm.
that start to going towards this new goal, this new finish line. You
Absolutely.
don't even hear it.
Absolutely.
And it's
Absolutely.
important, like it's important to move in that direction.
Mm.
Mompreneur. That's what I
Mm-mm.
want to talk about next as I fix my camera. RJ, I'm depending on you to make sure we in focus. Thank you. But mompreneur, like I
Yeah.
love that.
Aw.
I love that. I see the mompreneur tips and all these, the vacations
I
and
just
all
be
these
look. I just
things.
here's a perfect example of just knowing that there's this space that I live in and that I've lived in for a while. From be it owning a brick and mortar studio to before that when I was a publicist and a brand manager for various campaigns and personalities. So before it was me being behind the scenes, and it was always like side hustle kind of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So I never qualified it as like kind of this actual business. And that was just, again, my mind psyching me out of what I'm doing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
girl, stop minimizing yourself. And so, as I'm stepping into this space of owning the brick and mortar for almost 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and actually people coming to me, asking me questions. Oh, should I do this? Should I do that? I'm like, I'm a mother who owns a business and have been doing that for a while. So I'm a mompreneur, and I know that there's in this space that we're in, like in the last 5 years. I mean, we already know this, right? Black women are the highest. We have the highest percentages proportionally with advanced degrees.
Mm-hmm.
We are starting businesses at a much higher rate than all of the other demographic groups.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because of who we are. Like we've always, Black women as a whole are the ultimate creators.
Yes.
Anything that goes on, that goes viral, typically is something we created.
Mm-hmm.
We started mankind, right? Not mankind, but like it's our wombs, right? When we touch something, it's just different. And we see everything that we do be copied and misappropriated and all that stuff. So in this space of owning the content studio, so many women, Black women, coaches, physicians, like, 6-figure, 7-figure earners would use my space to create their brands.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty like, I don't take that lightly,
Yes, you should.
And
Facts.
so me just kind of owning this mompreneur space, I like to say I'm a content mompreneur.
Yes.
It's just really just bringing together all the other women who are doing what we're doing.
Mom tent.
Mom tent. That's cute. That's cute. Might trademark it. So yeah, but also I own a business. I have my beautiful children. I am the director of marketing and comms for a mega church. Lots of different hats that I wear. And that is the case for many of my community. And with us being so busy, we have to also be content. I think the word content has this bad rap of meaning you're settling,
Mm-hmm.
and meaning you're just like accepting what's happening, but I don't see it that way. The definition of contentment is peaceful happiness.
Yes.
That's the definition. And I'm seeking peaceful happiness in every part of my life, when things are great and when things aren't so great. Because that darkness, right? There is no light without the dark. So you can't even appreciate the great days if you aren't able to be peaceful and calm when things are crazy.
Yes.
And so I want my community of mompreneurs to ensure that they are content first.
Yes.
And that's just kind of been my mission. I would say I rebranded my show this time last year, when the light bulb went off. I was like, it's not just about creating content. It's not just about that. That's a big part, right? Because we have to tell our stories, and creating content is a very substantial revenue stream that I've been able to benefit from owning the space. But now I'm also going to benefit from it from bringing in revenue from just my own brand and my own content. How dope is that? I like creating content.
Yes.
Right? So obviously that is important. And if you're a mompreneur, you need to be using content to market. Absolutely. But we also need to find those places of peaceful happiness. So on the show, half of the show I'm giving tips on content marketing. The other half I'm giving tips on how to be content.
Yes.
Right? Like a recent episode that I just filmed with a sis, she's literally my sister, was on one of the past episodes was on rest and just the value of rest.
Oh man.
Right? Like rest should not be a reward.
Yeah.
Like we be like, oh, I need to rest. I didn't work so hard. I got to rest. What? Like rest is not a reward. You need to eat. You need to breathe. You need to rest. Like and drink water.
Mm-hmm.
Those things have to happen. And we just look at rest like I got to grind.
Yeah,
like
I gotta deserve my rest. Yes. You gotta earn that.
Yeah, no. And rest isn't just sleeping, right? Correct. Let me fix that. Rest isn't just sleeping. Rest is sitting in quiet. Uh-huh. Rest is being outside and taking in the elements and putting your feet in the soil. Like whatever calms you, whatever brings you peace, that's rest.
That's real, because it's also like you can blow your fuse.
Most mompreneurs do.
You can easily blow a fuse. Like people don't realize we're electric beings. You know, like we produce electricity. That's movement is electricity. You know, like it's a rest and it. Before I even get there, the most beautiful thing I like about this idea of content, right? And I was just tripping over the wordage, like content.
I was too.
That took me like I'm still working on that one right there. But like the thing about being content is also being proud of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, be proud of the work you done put in. You know, like be proud. Like it ain't like you don't want to put in more work. It's that you acknowledge like the work that you have put in. Like especially for my moms out there. I come from a mom.
Yes.
You know, so like I got a lot of love for y'all.
You know what I'm saying?
You
Like
know
we're just this. I listen. My husband and I'm so thankful for him because he's my friend. We laugh. When we mad. That's my dog. But when we look at the structure of our home, and he says this all the time, like he's the lay down the law. Now he is coming more into his softer side when it comes to the little ones. Even I'm noticing with our oldest now, which is beautiful to see. But like, if I'm saying something to the two babies that are 3 and 5, and I might say it 4 times and they don't listen, he'll say it once and it happens immediately. My role is like nurturing, like just that, and that's what we bring. That's what women bring. And there's just this connection, like even with the mother and the son. My oldest, ain't nobody like him, because our connection, having him at 23 and going through the ups and downs of life, and just like our bond, in my opinion, and others have said this, is just like no other. And it's not like that with him and his dad, because that's his dad, and it's just different. I'm his. That's just and so, and we have that. Moms have that, and you don't have to have a child like biologically, right, to be a mom. Mm-hmm. Women are nurturers. I have many friends who are aunties or who have adopted, but there's just this role that we take on, and then we're mothering our businesses.
Exactly. And that's the most interesting thing, and that's why when we talk about the relationship between a mother and her child, it's always like very sacred, because technically, like, you have known, you knew him for that egg was there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you knew him your whole life. You've known him your whole life. Like, he was already living within you, like, at a very, you know what I'm saying? Like, you were born.
I never thought about it like that.
You were like like, that's the thing. That's why I get real deep into this sperm brain, egg brain thing, because you have to realize that, like, you always, like, from the
It was always mine.
you were
It was
always
my
there.
kids,
Like I was
yes.
always there. Somebody
Yep.
came
Yep.
through. Like
Yep.
somebody came through with the
Exactly.
fertilization and things like that,
Exactly.
and gave and nourished. You know, a father.
Yeah.
Fathers nourish. You know what I mean, and nourished you into
Nourish.
existence. Like gave you this will to manifest yourself in the physical world, but already existed within the womb of your mom. Like like all of us.
Yep.
Like all of us always been there.
Yeah.
We come out every once one week out the week out the
Right.
month, we pull up like, yo, what's up? Like,
Right.
like,
And then
yo,
go
what's
back.
up? Yo, what's up? Like anybody go anybody go, you know what I mean? Yo,
Never thought
wow, how
about
we
it like
looking out
that.
there? How we
Yeah.
looking out there in
Yeah.
the physical world? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Pops, that I like him.
Yep,
Like,
yep.
you know what I'm saying? Like that be kind of like the vibe, so like just that type of relationship, hearing that type of relationship, hearing, you be in sync with that kind of relationship is very, very, very beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Very beautiful to hear,
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about the mompreneur.
Yeah.
We spoke about, how we do. We spoke about a lot of different things today,
I know.
We
I feel like I'm a little rambling a little bit.
Oh, no,
Okay.
not at all. Not at all. This was some good dialogue right here. This was some good dialogue. This is staying rich,
Yeah.
because that's the whole goal of why I created this show is that, again, we talk about the dark times, we talk about the light, and me, it's like, how do I provide something that enriches
Yeah.
the people that it enriches the people that support me.
That's right.
Like you take time out of your day to tune into this show. I want to offer you something that enriches your spirit.
Yes. I feel this literally, I feel the same way. Every episode I go into with the show, every piece of content that I create for my social is literally about, okay, how can this help a Black mom who has or wants to own a business? That is literally how I go into every part. So, maybe I'm helping you with your inner peace with a hack that I give you. One of the hacks that because every Wednesday we do it like a 5-minute content/contentment hack.
Mm-hmm.
It's real quick, no longer than 5-minute, short episode every Wednesday where I either give you a quick tip on creating content or a quick tip on being happier, peaceful happiness.
Mm.
And then there's the full episodes on Friday. So every part of that, every piece of it, be it a full episode or a short episode, is just like, can this help them be a better content marketer / business owner? Can this better help them find their space of happiness and peace? And sometimes they all three of them working together.
Mm-hmm.
All two parts come together. And I know I'm aligned in that because it comes to me so easily. I started, this was probably November of last year. I said, I'm going to release a quick content hack every month, every week. So what is it? 56 weeks in a month?
Mm-hmm. 52.
In a year. 52 weeks in a year. So I was like, I got to come up with 52 quick hack topics. I went to bed. Before I went to bed, I think I had like 30. And I was just like, God, what we going to do? No bull. When I woke up, after waking up and writing down, I have like 70.
Now we talking.
You know what I'm saying? So I know this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
And when you're doing something you're supposed to be doing, everything becomes as easy as breathing.
Super easy. Like probably so easy it scares people, which stops them from acting because you're like, nah, this shit too easy. It ain't supposed to be this easy.
I can do this forever.
Yeah, and it's, so it's like either you run with that, you run with it, like, right, the gun, the goat to start, you just go, or you're like sitting there like, nah, that ain't even for real. It came way too easy, and then you don't act, and it's like, no. When it's that easy, it's for you.
It's for you.
It's literally for you. And sometimes what I'm noticing in my life now, I'm letting go of what's not coming to me so easy.
And now you're talking.
And that has been that's like mourning.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've been so connected to this thing that you thought was for you, and maybe it was.
Yeah, but those are unhealthy relationships too. Like those things that we are drawn to, that don't naturally motivate us, that don't naturally inspire us, like we have to realize we are in a relationship with our ideas, and we are in relationship with the things we spend our time on.
Yep.
You know, like if you're spending your time on something, you need to make sure that it's a healthy
Yes.
back and forth between
Yes.
that thing. Like, because you get 20, well, I don't even believe in time. That's a whole nother
That's
thing.
a whole nother.
But we're not even gonna go there.
Okay.
But like, I do believe very much in time spent. Like, you know, if you're spending your time doing something, you need to be very conscious of what am I getting out of this.
Yes.
Like, not in a selfish way, but just even if the benefit goes to someone else, you
Yep.
know, like that
Yes.
still can be good. Like if the benefit is for someone else,
Absolutely.
like that's fine, you know, but you need to make sure that it is some type of input for your output.
Yeah,
You know what I
a
mean? Like
return.
it's gotta be a ROI.
Yeah.
Like it need you always the most important ROI is the return on investment of time. Like you have to get a return on investment of the time you spend, because every day you wake up, you get that chance and that choice, right?
Yeah.
But if you keep making bad choices and you keep avoiding taking the chance on the things that the universe, God, and everything else is telling you, like, look how naturally good you are at this.
Yeah.
Like, what else should you be doing? You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah.
and then the distractions as well. Like, again, like, I think the tenets of this episode is reducing the noise, having the courage to go for it, and also realizing that you do enough. Like you do enough, and
Moms.
you can be content. You can be content in knowing that you do enough. Like for the moms out there whose babies done gone to college and they get,
Come on.
I'm just talking about my own mother now, because she be like, I just think I could have done this better and I could have done that better, and I'm like,
girl. But that's natural.
That's natural.
You
I'm
know,
like,
but,
baby, I'm amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who you talking about.
I don't know what you talking about, but this one right here, you did good with me.
Amazing.
Okay.
You feel like you amazing? Yeah, we like we good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
and be content in that.
Be content in that. What is the thief of joy? Comparison.
Mm-hmm.
And that seeps in, and that's natural. It's natural to have these, like, to get these, you know, jolts of these feelings. But then we always got to go back to that, those 3 points. You know, the third one being you do enough. You are enough. Step in, move forward every day. Be able to say, okay, I know. You know, if it's something that is important to you and you've made it happen, that's good. You know, we in this space of wanting to, feeling like we got to do everything. We only hurting ourselves. We're only hurting our kids. You know, and I've just really had to just take a second, you know, and I'll give you another example. I love an example. My children, so there's a 10-year age difference. So it's 15, 5, and 3, 10-year age difference. So the bottom, the last two, the babies are freaking frack, you know, but I'm older. My husband's older. So we be tired. But the other day, my son, the baby,
I love how you make approaching 40 so old. Like.
I know. I should stop, because I'm putting it out there where I keep saying old, and it's like, okay, you're acting old, lady. Relax. I don't have as much energy as I had when I had my first one.
I understand.
Okay. So the baby, he had a cup of water and he had a French fry, and he was calling. I was watching him. I'm sitting on the couch. He's in the kitchen, and he's saying, "Oh, I have the French fry is a rattlesnake." Imagination. He loves animals. He's like, the French fry is a rattlesnake, and he's about to go swimming in the pool. And so I'm watching him about to put the French fry in the water. And at first I was like, oh, Reese, don't put it in the water. It's fine. Then I said it again. And I was like, saying to myself, why can't he put the rattlesnake in the pool? Like, he can do that. And I was like, let him go swimming, Reese. And he had so much fun putting that French fry in the water. And it was just like, because it wasn't that deep. Like, moms, we be making stuff so deep. Like, let go. Let them kids put the French fry in the water. They don't have to take a bath every night. Like, relax.
Word.
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep. Like, oh, it's not a rattlesnake. It's not a pool. Like,
don't get the French fry wet. Like,
and dogs don't talk like on Paw Patrol. like Like, at least let someone explore their own
Yes,
fantasy. You know what I mean?
yes,
Like, let someone
yes.
explore their own creativity.
Because
You
when
know.
you allow others to do it, i.e., your kids, then you begin to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It felt so good to let him to not even let him, but just not have an issue with him doing that. Because that only would have made me more tense. Then he would have been probably like, I want crying. Like, it's just not that deep. Like, let it go, mom. Like, we want to control and let it go.
Real talk. And you also, I don't know if you realize this, but you also gave your child space to do something important to them.
Yes.
Like we just said,
Yes.
like, do what's important.
Yes.
Do what's important to you. Like, you know, but we'll block that in a sense. Like, I've seen kids like really want to do something. Like, why in the world do you really just want to grab this pillow and like pull on this pillow? Like, why? But it's super. You take the pillow and it's like,
yeah, because they wanted to experience it, because they're not 30 or 40 and they didn't get to experience that.
Facts.
And that's a whole nother cultural thing. Here we go. I don't know how long again, I'll tell you, I'm a rant. One last point. And this is real. I'll be real examples. My oldest went to a very progressive white school for middle school. Okay. And it was like all white kids. And so one day I was picking him up and I'm just sitting in the hallway, just kind of watching, and Noble, it was this boy scaling the wall. Like literally, like the wall was short. So he was able to put one hand on this wall and his legs on the other wall, and he was going up. Like crazy. At the black school my son would have went to, that would have never happened. Oh, yeah. They would have been like, if you get down, this Bama was scaling that wall, having the time of his life. And I was just like, wow, that's so cool that these kids have the flexibility and the space to do what kids do.
Yes.
It would not have happened in a black school. I know that.
No way.
And that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, like we have to have the space to be free and create and move. Obviously, if you're safe, right? But sometimes not being safe is how you learn.
And like my brother, he has this philosophy with his kids, bro, LJ, where it's like controlled danger. Like, you know, like because I don't want you to be scared.
Absolutely.
I don't want you to be fearful.
Yes.
You know, like, because fear is another thief of joy, right? Yeah. Like I don't, so, but at the same time, like I don't want you to
just control this.
I don't want you to, you know
for
what
sure.
I mean? So
for sure,
it'll be something as simple as watching a baby climb up a stool. You know, like like that stool might be Mount Everest to that baby. You know, so like it's not like don't climb on it, but it's like
just be around, just in case you need to
be around, just in case you need to.
There you go.
You know, but nah, again. Patrice Cameau, it was such a pleasure having you on today. We had a very fruitful conversation. Like, again, the name of her show is Shades of Content and the Camp Space. You know, it's a beautiful place if you ever looking for anywhere to produce content, to make content, or if you ever just want to enjoy content that's been made and tailored for you. I definitely encourage you to check out all her social medias. They all will be linked below. Also a link to her show will be linked below. All the information you need will be tagged on the bottom. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in to the Stay Rich in Spirit podcast. We had such a good time, and I'm looking forward to having you back on the show.
Yeah, and thank you again. You know, you were on my show last year.
Yes.
And we said we was going to do this, and we made it happen.
I had to get my life together, you know. I had to get
my podcast brother. No, it was amazing, and I can't wait to connect with everybody.
Yes. Peace, love, and blessings, everybody. Talk to you.